Hello, this is Houthis again. Today I will talk about if Trump's deal with the Houthis is a test of his loyalty to the Jews. Today a lot of debates about if Trump is good for the Jews or not, if Trump is good for Israel or not. But before that, I want to talk about the situation. The Houthis continue launching missiles to Israel. They are not deterred by Israel's air strikes. Israel responds only when a missile hits a target, like in Ben Gurion and Tel Aviv. Not every time the Houthi launches a missile. So what I say is Israel should not get used to Houthi missiles, just like it get used to Hamas missiles. We all know how that ends. When you tolerate terrorists, they grow stronger. Now, let's get back to the Sapir debate. Jason Greenblatt and Rahm Emanuel went head-to-head over one key question. Is Trump good for Jewish or not? I have great respect for both of them. Rahm Emanuel was Obama's former chief of staff, and Jason Greenblatt was Trump's former Middle East envoy. Jason argued, yes, Trump is good for Jews, and Rahm Emanuel argued, no, Trump's not good for Jews. But Rahm brought Trump's deal with the Houthis as the proof. Listen to it.
Rahm mentioned the unilateral deal with the Houthis, which, as I'm sure you do, Jason, reading the Israeli press, stunned Israelis that an agreement was made without even consultation with the government in Israel.
I wish that he could solve the Houthi problem for both Israel and the United States, but he can't. So he's taking step one, which is fixing it for the United States. I don't think it's fair to judge him from 1 week of action protecting the United States and saying that he's abandoning Israel because he made a deal with the Houthis.
This is not about abandoning, but he has clearly sent a signal in the region of shunting the Israeli government aside. Yes, you could say he negotiated with the Houthis and his job is to protect America. And the moment he was still negotiating and called unilaterally and basically did his decision with the Houthis, missiles were still flying towards Israel.
Now, let me tell you why the U.S. conceded to the Houthis. And in doing so, America abandoned Israel. President Trump continued Biden's campaign against the Houthis, but escalated into a harsh, a month-and-a-half-long military offensive. The United States spent $7 billion in less than 2 years to fight the Houthis. Air strikes, drones, naval firepower. And you know what happened? Nothing. No deterrence, no victory. The United States just walked away. They surrendered, and in doing so, they also emboldened the Houthis. So, to his credit, unlike President Biden, President Trump understood a simple truth. Endless airstrikes are a failure. He conceded to the Houthis and made a deal. He abandoned Israel because it was insane to bomb and still fail. So the Houthis continued attacking Israel. They humiliated the US, and they are humiliating Israel. So Saudi Arabia did the same. Saudi Arabia is the richest country in the region, armed with state-of-the-art weapons, backed by billions in military spending. Since 2015, they launched persistent airstrikes. They tried ground invasion using mercenaries. They don't have a large cohesive national army. They spent between $100 to $300 billion in almost a decade. And what did they achieve? Nothing. There's no deterrence and there is no victory. They left behind massive infrastructure destruction, contributed to hundreds of thousands of casualties. And in the end, they surrendered. They made a deal on the Houthis term in 2022. That's a failure at the cost of hundreds of billions of dollars. So President Trump didn't want to burn billions of dollars and end up a loser. So how is Israel going to deal with the Houthis? Saudi Arabia has already conceded. The US has already conceded. But Israel cannot afford to concede to the Houthis' demands. They demand an end to the war in Gaza. But what's next? A Palestinian state or something more dangerous? So far, the port of Eilat has been closed or shut down. Shipping routes has been delayed between 10 to 15 days or weeks. Millions of Israelis are being forced into bomb shelters. They are terrorized. Even worse, their area blockade threat is working. Airlines are already backing down. Increasing air flights are being cancelled. Each Israeli attack in Yemen costs between $3.5 to $10 million. Israel is bombing from 2,000 kilometers away, only to hit non-operational airport or cement factory. There is no strategic target left in Yemen. Israel is bombing from 2,000 kilometers away, only to hit non-operational airport or a cement factory. There is no strategic targets left in Yemen. Israel's airstrikes are also doomed to fail, just like the US, just like the Saudis, at the cost of hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars. So the good news is Israel has an option. There is only one easy path to the Houthis threat. That's a ground offensive, backed by regional partners that have strong military capability and also strategic interest to defeat the Houthis. Ground offensive is easier, practical, and sustainable. Israel has a partner in the region, the Tigrinya nation in Eritrea. We have a shared Judeo-Christian civilization, we have a shared economic interests, and we have a shared security threats. It's time for Israel to seek a regional partnership with the Tigrinya. Let me end with this. Trump made a deal with the Houthis because bombing Yemen, losing billions, and still failing, and even empowering the Houthis is pure insanity. If he abandoned Israel, sure. If this is a test of his loyalty to the Jews, I am not sure. This was for today. Thank you all for listening. And please don't forget to share, subscribe, and also visit our website, and please support us. Thank you. See you in our next video.